There are many Mavericks we all know of. But this film is not about Mavericks. It's about the Maverick effect. So, what exactly is the Maverick effect? Is it about an individual or an organization? Maybe. But it's certainly not just that. In fact, it's much, much more. It is a collective of dynamic, diverse stakeholders with a shared vision, including fierce competitors who understand the need to collaborate and co-create. They manage their multiple truths, internal conflicts, contradictions, and self-interests. They always ask themselves, is there a long-term benefit? Is it going to grow the ecosystem? Is the growth transformative and sustainable? Is it good for the country? They are lifelong learners. Their synergies flowing to nurture a thriving ecosystem. A structured group that promotes a culture of values, feedback, and reimagination. A platform where every voice matters, irrespective of stature and preeminence. They are a secure and confident collective. They stand shoulder to shoulder with a sense of complete ownership, whose vision is not just personal agenda or shareholders' profit, striving for consensus and highest common denominator, rising above individuals, speaking in a single voice, united by a common purpose, focused on abundance mindset to put industry first. This group has its own conscience keepers. Enlightened self-interest for sustained transformation is the essence of the Maverick effect. Join us and share your own Maverick Effect story.
Fantastic. And with that, it's now time I extend a very warm welcome to our esteemed veteran leader indeed, Mr. Harish Mehta, co-founder at NASSCOM, a true pioneer and a guiding force. A huge round of applause for him, please.
And it turned out that it was a young software developer who was just testing his technical skills. And from there to today, where we have cyber criminals reading the AI code and making life difficult for all of us. So it's a pleasure to see all of you are ready to take on that fight with the cyber criminals here. What I'm going to do is the Maverick effect that we talked about in the film is basically nothing but the NASSCOM way of working, or the Data Security Council way of working. What it says is fierce competitors and the diverse stakeholders of the industry came together, keeping in and taking decisions which are industry first, India in the background as a overall tilting into the which way to move, single voice, consensus driven, no personal agenda, identifying signal from the noise. So these various parameters that came together, and that's what I have defined it as a Maverick effect. And what has it done? What has it delivered? When we started NASSCOM, by the way, NASSCOM started from my office in 1988. So from that time, the industry was at $52 million. Last year, we closed at $283 billion. It is roughly, you can say, 30% compounded growth over 30 years. And as of like 35 years now, it's 25.7% compounded growth. Industry created 5.8 million jobs, high-paying jobs, which on an average creates 4 to 5 additional jobs in the society. And take a family of 4, we end up supporting today twice the population of UK in India. If you look at the foreign exchange earnings, it is as much as Saudi Arabia. But the difference is in Saudi Arabia, money goes in one account, while in India, through hundreds of thousands of companies, into millions of accounts, which has built a new middle class in the country. But that is the contribution of, and not to be seen because our population is 1.4 billion. And of course, the seeds of cultural transformation have been planted from corporate governance, meritocracy. Like industry employees today, 38% women, 2 million women employees. Now, with these women getting high disposable income in their home, how they are going to bring up their children, how they are going to contribute in bringing up their homes and the communities. There is a silent revolution taking place, in my view. So like that, there is, this is not BFSI, frankly, in that sense. It's more about how NASSCOM Maverick effect change the way India has changed now today, and how it is applicable to your world is what basically the message is, that I'll try to tell you stories about how it is applicable to, and the real stories. It may sound like fiction, but they are real stories, and how we made that change happen. Now, one of the criteria or value of, core value of NASSCOM is, but whenever we take a business decision, there shouldn't be any personal agenda. So I'll tell you a story here. Two stories actually I have. When NASSCOM started, NASSCOM didn't have enough financial resources, and we're looking at major expenses. We used to share among 40 companies the expenses, but still the need was very large. So at that time, Narayan Murthy of Infosys, he came forward and he said, I will conduct training program on AS400. In those days, AS400, where there's a great export opportunity. And I will contribute whatever I collect to NASSCOM. But he also invited all his competitors, developers, to attend the course. Now just imagine, inviting your competitors, employees, you develop them, train them, and they're going to compete with you tomorrow. But Murthy did it because he felt that he's doing it for a higher cause, which is keeping NASSCOM alive, strengthen NASSCOM. So that's the spirit of no personal agenda. I'll give you another story. About 20 years back, PMO took two delegations to Russia. One was the pharma delegation, and second was the IT delegation. Som Mittal was leading it. And in a conference like this, Som was supposed to give the presentation about selling India's export capabilities to Russians. So when Som looked around, he saw as a part of delegation Harish Manglik. Som Mittal was NASSCOM president. And Harish Manglik, who was the chairman of Accenture India, and was also chairman of NASSCOM. So Som said, if he's here, Harish, he should give a presentation. So Harish also looked around, and he saw N. Chandra, who is now Tata Sons chairman. He's also part of the delegation. So he said, Chandra, largest IT company of India, he should give the presentation. So they approached Chandra, said, would you give the presentation? Chandra said, of course I will. But then Som said, but Chandra, one caveat. He said, what? In this presentation, there are 4 stories of your 4 competitors, case studies. Would you talk about them? Without blinking, Chandra said, yes, I'm speaking on behalf of India. That's no personal agenda as per NASSCOM. Now when Som Mittal read this story is in my book. When Som Mittal read this story, he called me and he said, Harish bhai, I had forgotten that story. I'm very happy that you remembered and you wrote it. And in that discussion, I came to know, and he said, what I did at that time, I even didn't think I'm making a sacrifice. I just did it because I thought that is the right thing to do. And you feel good, because then that is the culture. It is the culture that drove everybody around there to do what is good for NASSCOM. Now, people like us, we call ourselves self-appointed conscious keepers of NASSCOM. And we take all these stories and tell every generation of NASSCOM leaders in order to strengthen the culture or maintain the culture, what values NASSCOM respects and we should carry forward from one generation to another generation. Now, let me talk about another story about identifying signal from the noise. By the way, Vinayak, please stop me because I'll keep going. I wouldn't, there is a time. Oh, I'm only halfway, my God. All right. So, I'll let Farah, okay, welcome back. So this story is about identifying signal from the noise, noise. Again, the story goes back to early 90s, where we were positioning India as the back office of the world. So many of the multinationals, they approached us saying, and they were very happy with the work that we were doing. So they said, would you allow 100% ownership to set up back offices for us in India? And this will be our confidential work, basically. So we want 100% ownership. So in our group, we discussed, we said, my God, now should we allow or not allow? Because the natural instinct is to, government has given you natural protection, because in those days, they couldn't have more than 40% equity. So here we are supposed to go back to the government and tell them, can we make it 100%? So now here government indirectly has given us a natural protection. Why should we allow them to come in? Plus some of us argued saying that they'll come, take away our people paying twice the salary. Even the business we are doing under the garb of back office, they'll transfer it and do it themselves. So why should we allow? But luckily we had built the culture of, I would say, openness and transparency in the group, that somebody argued saying, no, but look at our quality processes, they're all homegrown. If they come here, we would learn from them. Plus, if you build the brand for India, we are doing so small work for them, and each of these multinationals has billions of dollars of budget for IT, and all those areas will open up to us. So why not we support that? Still, everybody was not convinced. At that time, there was a big debate in USA, who is us? Japanese companies had made big inroads from Sony, not Toyota, but Sony, Motorola, Mitsubishi, and others. And there was a concern, should we allow them to continue what Trump is doing today? There was a big debate at that time, should we put tariff or not on the Japanese products? So same question came up in our team. Who is us? Are we India-based companies? Are we NRI-owned India-based companies? Are we services companies? Are we product companies? Who are we? So in that conversation, I don't know who, but somebody said, yeah, but they will help us develop the human capital of India. That became a yardstick. Oh, wow, that is true. So today also, frankly, when we have 49-51% split of taking a decision, we go in favor of whoever develops human capital of India. That becomes a sort of a benchmark for us to compare with. Yes, they will. So again, we went around the table. Mr. Kohli of TCS, do you agree to allow them to come in? He said yes. Mr. Murthy of Narayan, Infosys, yes. Azim Premji of Wipro, yes. Other smaller companies, everybody. Everyone said yes, we should allow 100% ownership. So then we go and approach our finance minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. We give them the proposal saying you allow 100% ownership. One of the officers said, वापस इस इंडिया की तरह देश को बेचने आ गए. Somebody said, तुम किसके दलाल हो? But we had two levers in our hand. India was bankrupt at that time on foreign exchange. We say our industry will earn foreign exchange. And second is the creating jobs, which is again a big, huge need. We have the brain drain of creating jobs in the country. And Dr. Manmohan Singh understood the logic. And he allowed 100% ownership. And that decision today, as all of you know, is now called GCCs, earns right now $35 billion. Vinayak, you can give me the more better numbers. $35 billion, employs 1.2 million engineers doing state-of-the-art development work, and continue to be a part of representing the board now and giving sort of direction to the parent company also. Just such single decision without any huge, no money spending, no research in that deep, but it is the collective power of, anyways, all of you in some sense, best of best Indians, they are around the table and their creative juices flow. If there's a trusted environment, this kind of solutions come up. Going further, we had another big issue. When we used to approach customers in those days, customer would look at us as a thief. Because in India, we believe in right to copy and not in copyright. Now, how do you change that brand? We had no money, we had no resources really to fight that battle. So again, in a group, we all discussed, debated, and we said, maybe first thing we should do is get the Indian Copyright Act modified and add the word software in it. Easy to say in a way, but not easy to get it done. So we approached the government officers, different departments. So in one group, we gave a presentation why we should add the word software. One of the officers, I still remember, he asked, "Where is our Kohinoor?" We said, "Kohinoor? It's the Tower of London." "Where is our this jewelry?" "Oh, that is again in here." He said, "For last 300 years, we have been looted. It's our time to loot their property. We should allow free piracy. We should not stop piracy. We are giving our Ramayana free, Mahabharata free, Ayurveda, Aryabhatta zero free and all that. And why should we now not use their software at no charge?" So there was a very huge uphill task for us to. Luckily, again, Mr. Vittal, who was the DOE secretary, he saw the logic behind what we were saying, that if India ever has to come out, we need to build India Inc. brand of doing business with integrity, honesty, and also respecting the international laws. But then we were worried, how would it get through the government? You have to cross the Lok Sabha and you have to cross the Rajya Sabha. We'll be surprised if we gave presentations to every political party at that time in the country. So when it came, the amendment came in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, it sailed through. Again, you can see the impact of creating a trusted environment, creative juices flowing, people contributing, and taking it forward. And that's the message for all of you here from that perspective, that if for entire, I would say, cybersecurity ecosystem, if our players come together under one umbrella, and again, I can, for example, how much time we have? Can I? Few minutes? No, I can tell one more story. So there's a talent gap in cyber area. So how do you solve that? Now, for the last 40 years, I've been saying, you can say skill gap every year. New technologies come and there's a need, and demand surges. In educational institutes are not ready to have that manpower. So you go make all the efforts, and then you satisfy the need. But again, the new one comes in, and the industry keeps on expanding. So in the late 90s, or mid-90s, I would say, we realized that we would need 100,000 engineers 5 years from now, 200,000 engineers 7 years from now, and whatnot. And there was no capability or capacity existed in the country. So again, solution came from the group saying, we should get the state government active in creating manpower that we need. So NASSCOM ended up drafting IT policies of 20 states. So when the next wave of technology came, educational institutes were partly ready to provide the raw material that the industry needed. Even when we realized that IITs and other regional engineering colleges would not be able to provide the resources that the industry needs in terms of multi-skilled IT professionals, because they have silos, electrical, mechanical, and whatnot. So how do we solve our needs? And we are expanding globally, we need global managers. Working with the government, we came up with a solution in the form of triple IITs. So triple IIT is a multidisciplinary technology driven by IT, took birth. And we drafted the entire structure of what, how, and so on and so forth. And then later on, government debated and put it in practice. Now we have 25 triple IITs in place. So you will need to do that, such out-of-box thinking to solve talent gap in the cyber security area. I think now I'll end by just saying my time is up, or second time, that, and as a suggestion to all of you, is only one, frankly. Maybe, can I have the slide that come up? Prasad? Now, to solve these issues, I would strongly recommend that you invest 10% of your time selflessly, with your creative juices flowing, collaboratively, to solve your industry issue or your segment issue, or in expanding your ecosystem. Because we need to strengthen your ecosystem. You're not helping others, but you are helping yourself. And I'll end by my final quote saying that when the tide comes, all boats rise. But what we need here in the cybersecurity area is a unified fleet to navigate through the storms. Thank you.